Hey, everybody. Another Thursday, another Game Set Live. A little different format. We are packed tonight. Got the regular suspects with two great guests, DOOMCUTIE and JediKnightPeter. We've merged the best part of the Xbox Ultimate podcast with Game Set Live.
Game Set Infinite.
There you go.
Games, I like it. I like it a lot. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, so how's everybody been doing, Fabio? Other than playing some Grounded final release with me last night that you're seeing on screen right now, what else have you been playing?
Well, wait a second. Isn't the Kangaroo Brawler the first one to say something?
He couldn't wait to say it. He just couldn't wait.
He just left. There we go.
Oh, man.
You got Google Stadia.
Shit. Now I got. Shit. Now I gotta talk, of course. Damn it. But always good to be here, Bob. Thanks so much. And played some Grounded with you. Arachnophobia levels really high up there. We played with Cutie as well.
How many minutes in did you have to turn it on to turn the arachnophobia accessibility on?
The moment you showed up and then we saw the two giant wolf spiders, I was okay. Fuck it, I'm not doing this.
No. I am. I'm with you.
Not just that, but I've been playing some Halo. Yeah, because I kind of like Halo. I suck at it, but I do enjoy it. But a little bit of Destiny 2. Yes, I am starting to play Destiny 2. Am I enjoying it? Yes. Do I think it's amazing? No. But do I enjoy it? Yes.
Let us claws get into you, man. You just gotta give it a little bit of time.
I don't care about the story. That's the problem. I just care about the gameplay. That's the thing.
Oh, you play a little longer, it'll grab you.
Yeah, if Bungie knows how to do anything, man, they know how to make a shooting.
Oh, absolutely. Even though their second one,
it's amazing.
Yeah, their second one, they really put their foot in that game. I give it to them.
Yes. But and besides that, that's it.
Yeah, well, same
disappointed?
here.
Disappointed?
No, not disappointed at all. I mean,
you just fuck it.
No. Bob worked all weekend.
No one cares.
He was offended.
I worked all weekend, and so I was like, what gameplay am I gonna run this week? And so I put the tweet out, and Umbra come up, right away. He was like, Grounded. And you know what's funny is that I'm a Ghostbuster he's the host of the Xbox Live Party podcast, where I got my start. He wanted me to do Paw Patrol.
That would have been amazing.
I'm glad you didn't listen.
You would have done it.
I'm glad you didn't listen.
I did mark you. I did mark you on Twitter. The XPL Party podcast, my podcast, by the way. Subscribe to the channel.
I'm gonna charge you for that plug. Well, anyway, Cutie, I don't know if you noticed this, but your comments from your channel are also coming through on the chat in this app.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I was wondering why that one looked different. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all that don't know, I use Restream, and Restream has a feature where my guests can pair this show with their channel and get it out on their channel as well. And the DOOMCUTIE is the first one to try that out, and her comments are actually showing up from her channel. That is really cool.
Nice.
Okay. The Kangaroo Brawler.
Yes.
What you been playing?
I'm trying to catch up to the Bushido and trying to finish off Immortals Phoenix Rising. I love that game. I have made it to the King's Mountain. I So look, I think I'm getting pretty close on the King's Peak or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm loving that game. I love everything about it. But we jumped into Grounded last night with the Xbox Infinite crew, and I had a great time. So, and then I played a little bit of Primordius as well, and Risket was generous enough to buy me Song of Iron, so I played a little bit of that. And I also played a little bit of Primordius. So going between games this week, been great.
Nice.
What did you have to do for that? For him to get you that game? Did you have to go out and rope him a kangaroo or something, and bring it home for his kids so they have?
He catches his own
anything
kangaroo.
like that?
Come on now.
I do that nightly anyway, Bob. So
He
it was
said nightly anyway.
That's how he winds down. Just grab a beer, punch a kangaroo. Really take it easy.
Wait a second.
There you go.
Do you have a kangaroo at home that is just there to receive a punch from you? Is that it?
well, I don't punch my kangaroo, but
Ah.
neighbors definitely.
I sometimes punch kangaroos with my car.
Okay,
Right.
it's
Oh.
it's
that
official.
I would believe living out where you do.
Right.
That I would
Okay.
believe.
Okay, it's official. This
Do
is a new
not cross
stereotype.
me. Do not cross me.
Every Australian has a pet kangaroo at home. It's official.
I mean, that makes total sense. In the U.S., we hit deer.
Yeah,
in
we hit
Australia, they
deer.
hit
I was
kangaroos.
just thinking that. I was
Yeah,
like,
we hit
so
deer like
that's
crazy.
the Australian equivalent of hitting a deer. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy lives
Brazil,
out
we-
in the sticks.
In Brazil, we just hit people.
Oh my God. Whoa.
So,
Oh yeah, you guys.
That went dark
do.
really
Oh
fast, right?
man. I saw a video about that. Man, that's crazy. You
I
guys
missed it.
know
What
you
do
guys
they-
know what
what do
you
they
guys know
hit?
what Fabio's talking about? So like
No.
in Brazil, there's like this crazy pandemic of people who were like rolling up on these motorcycles and like robbing people and stuff, and the country like okayed people to run over other people if they're like in the act of
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yo, look it up, dude. I looked up some videos. It is crazy. There's
Oh
this
no,
two-
I've seen
two
that
guys-
before, but I didn't know it was okay to run them over
It's
now.
100% legal, bro. It's 100% legal. Brazil
No,
is
see-
over. They are over it.
But you know what though?
Indian-
It's a shame because things are like that because they're so poor. It's not like they
Yeah.
do it for fun. But I'm not saying it's okay. But to have your country say it's okay to run them over. I mean, look, if it's an accident and it's an accident, if you try to escape, you try to escape. But man, when you leave a door open like that, you could
Nah, man.
actually kill somebody on purpose.
No, they did.
And
use
that as an
they
excuse.
do.
Barman,
All the
Yeah.
time.
Barman, I gotta be honest. Like, I had no idea what you're talking about.
Are you serious? No, it's
I
a
didn't
real
even know I
thing.
lived here.
It's a real
I
thing.
was just making a joke. Then you
No,
mentioned
look it
that.
up. Yeah, look it up.
And then you
dude.
went too serious. You were
Yeah.
too
No,
serious.
no.
I thought you knew what I was
Oh,
talking about.
man.
I was like, dude, I was watching videos on this stuff, man. There's two guys like trying to rob somebody, and this guy just Grand Theft Auto'd them right off the freaking.
yeah, I mean, you could do a hit and run and say he tried to rob me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm starting to be to get afraid of just going out. Like,
Just don't go outside.
Hey, listen.
Hey, that's
yeah,
how it is here in the U.S. too. So hey,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you gotta watch where you walk up here too. So.
Jesus
All right, boys.
Christ.
What's the first topic? What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
We're,
You're tired? You're tired of our shenanigans?
yeah,
Seriously?
thank you,
Okay.
Jimmy, for getting us on course. Now you
Sorry,
see what I have to go
it's
through.
the
every
risk
day.
that-
I would say that's off course. What we were talking about, running over
She
people.
wants.
I
That's
got
what
through
she
a little
does.
bit,
okay?
so let's go to that.
That's
I
a
know
good
what
topic.
she's doing.
Running people
Let's leave with
over,
that.
is it good
No,
or
I know
not?
what Cutie's doing. She's trying to shorten the show and get us moving because she knows at the very end of this gameplay is actual spiders and not little fluffy blobs.
I'm
fairness,
just not gonna.
Doomy
I'm
has
just not
to
gonna
do-
look at it.
This is, in fairness, Doomy has to deal with this every week on Xbox Infinite. She's the only one that keeps the show on the roads.
Oh goodness me!
All right, Bobby, what we got?
what are we doing?
All right, first topic. And before I get started, I just want to shout out to my guests, DOOMCUTIE and the Kangaroo Brawler. DOOMCUTIE is pairing the show on her channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. this show on her channel, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe this show on our channel.
Yeah. Share the love.
That's right. We are about centricity. That's right.
Ooh.
Good work.
First topic. So it is rumored right now that we may not see a final iteration of Halo Infinite until 2023 or 2024 because there is talk of them completely ditching the Slipspace engine and going to Unreal Engine 5. So I don't know if while this is happening, if that's going to put Halo Infinite in kind of a game preview mode or what. But I do know that after this year, anything that's added is going to be under Unreal Engine 5. And I don't know what this is going to take or how quick it's going to be. But I think people who didn't have any experience in making a graphics engine or a game engine made a game engine, and they shot for the stars, and they're learning from their mistakes. And I think they're just going to fall back on Unreal. Unreal. I started to say Unreal Tournament. It shows my age.
That's where it came from, though.
Unreal Tournament, yeah.
Falling back on Unreal Engine 5 because we've all seen what it's capable of, and the Coalition, I'm sure, is a big proponent to this because they've stepped up to help.
They are master at that thing already.
They've probably got the rest of the board at Microsoft on their side to go with UE5. Fabio, I'm going to start with you because I know that you love Halo, and you've been, when we've all bashed it in the past, you have been right there defending it.
Was I?
What do you got?
You seriously?
Yeah, I mean,
Seriously?
I don't remember this. I don't remember.
What?
When we got,
Have you watched the
when we
last?
No,
got
I think you got it mixed up, Bobby. It was me. I wasn't defending it, but matter of fact, Fob, you mind if I take this one first since he throwing that out there?
Thanks. I thought
Okay.
you were going to be my
Okay,
human
yeah.
shield, but then you just decided to fucking take that. Thanks.
Listen,
Hey, Panda.
hey, so it kicked him out again. So anyway, all right, before he gets back. So the deal is, I wasn't defending it. I was just saying that the game is good. It just lacks content.
Yeah.
And hey, Panda, that's my girl. With the problem, I don't know if anybody remembers it.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody remembers this on this show, but I kept saying, I wonder if the problems that they're having with integrating certain things into the game, is it Slipspace? I just kept wondering, is it Slipspace? I don't want to say it is because I actually liked it, pretty good as far as the way it looked and everything. But man, this is a telling thing to switch from the engine you took about 2 years to make,
okay,
or God
Mr.
knows how
Bushido,
long.
pause. Hello, Noof Nukem. Okay, go, Mr. Bush.
Lodge, what's going on, man?
Pause, Bush. Hello, Logic.
Hello, Logic.
Hello, Logic. Hello.
Hello.
Can
So
you hear us?
yeah, so I think I really, and this is without even knowing we know now. It's like, yeah, it's the engine. You wouldn't make this kind of switch unless it's the engine. There's no way in the world you make a switch unless it's the engine. I'm kind of upset because my favorite franchise on Xbox has to take a hit for this. I'm just a little upset because of that. My second favorite is State of Decay 2 and then Gears, so at least those two are in good hands, or anything the Coalition does. But this one though is gonna hurt. I don't know if this is gonna take any longer too. I'm with you with that. I don't know. I don't know if it's something that you just flip over. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask Deb about that. I really don't know how that works. But that's deep though. I didn't even hear about that until just now, until you just mentioned it. I didn't even know. So yeah.
Power Man, he's the one that threw it into the chat yesterday.
See,
I
see,
mean, like,
that's
I
the
was like,
benefit of
what?
having a power man on your family.
I mean, like, this is just a rumor. Jess Gordon already said that this is inaccurate, but he has no idea of if it is
No,
true
that's
or not.
he actually came back and said, Fabio, that the rumor came from Sean W, who is he's got about 75,000 subscribers on YouTube. Go watch his channel; it's fantastic.
Okay, there
And
goes
so
my argument.
he put out a video the day before from an insider suggesting that that this could be true. Then he woke up to Jez Gordon dismissing it. And so what he did is he DM'd Jez Gordon, told him where he got his information from. And now Jez has come back and said the more he looks into it, the more it could be real. Not saying it is real, but just saying that it could be real. So right now, all of it's speculation, but it hasn't been shot down. He thought it came from 4chan or something like that.
Right.
But it
Okay.
actually didn't. It actually did come from sources.
You know, anytime when Jez says something, I'm listening. You want to talk about a guy who doesn't say something unless he crosses his eyes and dotted his I's and crossed his T's. And a guy who's a lock. I mean, a safe I'm about to say Fortnite, Fort Knox. When it comes to information, my man don't spill nothing.
Oh,
Yeah, right. Well,
there's one on screen right now, Doom.
It's a
You're
Fortnite of
sneaking up on
information.
one right now.
No.
It's sleeping. When you get close to it, you can actually hear it snoring, and we
Get out,
right
really?
past it.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Look, just because you don't have your arachnophobia filter on the same level as mine.
It's sleeping. It's not even moving. It's
That's
sleeping. It's not
wolf
even
spider,
moving.
yeah?
I'm about to
Face
put,
your
I'm about to put
fears.
some paper on my screen.
Face
I
your
didn't know you could
fears.
zoom in on it. I've never done that before. I know you could zoom in on it like that. Or was that a feature that was added a while ago?
I don't know.
Yeah,
you
and
can
once you
focus
zoom in,
on
you
something
can-
and then hit your X button and identify it. So that
So excuse me, chat, if I'm not looking, because you know the reason why. That is,
He turned
I
away
can
from it
hear
now.
it. Oh God.
You turn away, no worries.
No,
And then he turns back. Then he turns back around to it after
I'm
we say
trying
he
to keep my eyes on it so it doesn't kill us.
Well,
Yeah,
Anyway.
those wolf spiders aren't as bad as the orb weavers, I don't think. But when they do start chasing, you get the hell out of it. But if you just like duck near them, they don't get you.
And then we hit this area right here, and Fabio lost his shit. He was like, "Oh my God, mushrooms everywhere! There's mushrooms everywhere!"
Yeah.
Fabio, you know you
Fabio
can't
likes
eat them
mushrooms.
for real in real life, though, right?
like mushrooms, they are all eatable. Most of them just once, but yeah.
Just
Most of them
just once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
All
find
Die
out.
after that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not trying to find out.
That's a
Fabio,
joke.
Fabio comes back after I die. I was like, I guess I was wrong.
No, I was right. Just once, you died. You won't eat it again. But like, in my opinion, this Halo thing, this kind of stuff, I don't want to believe it that is true. Like, I'm still considering a rumor. I will only believe in it when 343 says something about this topic, because I'm not a dev at all. I have no experience. But what I imagine it happens is that the more you are about to change the core of something, the harder it's going to be, and the longer it's going to take for you to just simply change it. So when we are talking about the engine of the game, that's like the main core of it. Everything that you have already done, that you spend your time, is there, and you are just about to completely erase that and change it. Like, if this happens, it's gonna take a really long time, and it's going to be a huge hit on Halo, in my opinion.
Well, I suppose that's why they're saying potentially 2024. But I think I'm the same as you, Fabio. It's rumors at this point, and until 343 comes out and says this is what we're doing, it's all speculation. So
exactly.
then,
Like,
I'm always like that with everything.
and like, I think the worst part would be, like, imagine they release the winter update in this November, and after that, in January they are canceling season 3 because they are now going to be doing this. How
They won't do
horrible!
that, Fabio. They won't do that.
Like
No.
because
Look,
I don't.
my problem with it, Fabio, is, and I'll ask you this: do you think that look, obviously the Slipspace engine is the cause of all the problems. It's the cause of everything being delayed heavily. It's the cause for no maps, no modes coming out because of the tech debt that the engine causes. So would you rather, and it looks like it can't be fixed. Look, I don't know. It's taking a long time to be fixed. So would you rather the game just prodding along like it is now, or do you think they should cut ties and start fresh with the new engine, regardless of how long it takes? And I suppose that's the question they have to ask themselves as well.
Like, I think, in my opinion, that if you are going to use a new engine, then you are going to give up on this game and make a brand new one. Like, and to me, I don't like this idea because I am way more in favor of fix what you were not able to deliver, make it good, make it the way it was supposed to be. Do not give up on it. Keep on working hard, and then after that, you have my permission to make a new game. Because otherwise, Master Chief Collection will be doomed at this right now at this moment.
Yeah,
To
I have to agree
stay,
with
in
you.
my opinion.
Yeah. Look, the only thing I feel like that I'm worried about if they move to Unreal Engine 4, and I think it's why they stayed with the Slipspace engine and just iterated upon it, is it's the DNA of Halo. What's make Halo feels like Halo, and I don't know if that can be replicated. If, and it's a big if it can be replicated, then I wouldn't mind them moving.
243 just interrupted.
They just pulled the plug
Yeah,
on
right
JP. They
there.
got
Cut
him.
out. Oh,
Oh, there it
There we
goes.
go.
3
Yeah,
just
well, yeah,
broke
that's what
down.
happened.
It's 343 acting. There we go.
The silence.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look, I think if they do move to Unreal Engine, I think it will essentially future-proof the rest of
Right,
Halo, in
right.
my opinion. And I honestly, I don't mind how long that takes, because the foundations, and everyone who's played Halo, everyone, longtime fans, who just found it, they all know that the foundations of the story and the game are really, really solid.
Yes.
So for me, if that means, I have to wait in order for the game to be better in the future, and in order to continue playing it in the future, then there's your answer. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure. Like, this is something that I've been saying for some time. Right now, when it comes to when 243 announced that they were just cutting and canceling split screen co-op, because I would have preferred to wait 10, 20 years. I don't care the amount of time I will have to wait to get split screen co-op back in Halo again. I just wanted to have that feature back. I know it's not essential to the majority of gamers right now because we live in a world where online co-op is the main thing, but still, we are talking about the promise that they made since Halo 5. They've been saying that all the time till 2021, and then in 2022 they decide to say, fuck it, we're not doing it. So, like, I prefer to wait till I get what I want than for them to say that you get it, and then after that you will not be getting it anymore.
Yeah,
Well-
sorry, I got kicked, guys. I really apologize. I'm
You're
having
good.
real difficulty here.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
It's all right, brother.
Oh.
No worries.
The only thing that I can relate this engine change to is, y'all remember when the source code was stolen from Valve on Half-Life 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That set the release of Half-Life 2 back over 12 months.
But how long do you think it'll take them to make a brand new game in a brand new engine? I think we are kidding ourselves if we're going to see that game in 2024 or even 2025.
I would say 3 years minimum.
Minimum. Yeah.
And that's if they reuse assets that they already have. I mean,
That's all I
Fortnite,
was gonna say. Yeah.
Fortnite, for instance, you see the bad thing is it's like it's proprietary on the engine source code. So like they if they had used Unreal Engine 4 and they could have just swapped to Unreal Engine 5 and it would have been no problem. The fact that Slipspace is a proprietary source of coding means that you know we're really just speculating onto exactly how that's going to translate into Unreal Engine 5 and what bugs will obviously show up once they attempt to push this engine into Unreal Engine 5. So these are all things that are just speculative until they come out there and say this. Now I will say that, and this is why I shared it, because Sean W is in my opinion a pretty reliable source for information. And when you're looking at the rumors and you're looking at these things that are naming off, we've been talking about this for a long time. We've been talking about the lack of the cadence, and we've been talking about the struggles that it's had, and it's because they're having a hard time developing on Slipspace. You know what I mean? They're having a hard time. They have a really good foundation for the game, but and they've even spoken about it that they're having a hard time, creating a good cadence for content. So I personally, I think that I'm not going to say this is 100% until 343 comes out and mentions something, but I would not be surprised if somewhere around the winter update, whether it's on, the Halo Twitter or something, that we get some type of update into what's going on. And, this is all in the midst of, all of the management changes and job changes and a lot of things that are going on at 343. So there's a lot of stuff that we could be updated on. So the fact that there's a lot of talk behind the scenes doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's disheartening. I mean, you find out that Bonnie Ross is no longer there, and you're like, okay, well, we're making big moves now. We're making people accountable. We're giving people individual sets of responsibilities instead of one person handling so much responsibility for so many different people. And then you come to find out that they may be going back to square one with the game engine. It's disheartening and it's disappointing.
It's not what you want to hear as a Halo fan in 2022 when we've already kind of dealt with a lot of, we've kind of been here through the thick and the thin. And if you're a Halo fan right now, you're definitely, it's a labor of love, right? Because, we're here because we love the franchise. And for a lot of us, myself included, it's one of the main reasons why I chose Xbox as a platform, 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So like, it's something that I hate to see in this state, because to me, that Halo was like one of those, and Gears and Forza too, but Halo was always just that next level, man. It's just that one thing that just could not be replicated on another system, in my opinion. Like PlayStation's never had a Halo, in my opinion, and Nintendo, they have their own thing that they do, and that's fine, but nothing's ever been like Halo, so to see it struggling like this sucks, and hopefully these decisions are being made to help the game. And if not, and a lot of people have been talking about this, that maybe they pull the cord, they release a complete edition of Halo Infinite, and then we go into Unreal Engine 5 on Halo, the next Halo 7 or whatever this is want to call it, and they can, build a more coherent, multiplayer and campaign together, and try to replicate that Halo 1 through 3 experience that we got.
Only Microsoft can answer this, but if they drop the old generation, drop the Xbox One, can the engine be salvaged? Can the game be salvaged just on the newer hardware?
Too,
yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't know if necessarily the main problem, the main issue is the old generation, in my opinion, and especially because when people were pissed, and we are still pissed about them canceling split screen co-op, people were speculating, is this because of the Xbox One generation? And then we saw the hack and the bug that showed us that it was possible to have a good enough experience with split screen co-op in both Series X, Series S, and Xbox One. So like I don't think this engine problem is because of the Xbox One. I think it's because of the problems that happen with the studio before. What was the name of the guy that was in charge of Halo before Joe Stacy got involved?
Yeah, Stanton.
Yeah, yeah, no. What was the
No, who
name
was
of
in charge
the guy?
before that?
Chris something.
Yeah, Chris
Ooh.
something I can't remember.
Yeah,
I
It's
don't.
me
Chris
neither.
Lee. Chris Lee.
But yeah, Chris Lee. Thank you so much, Kangaroo. Like Chris, like Chris Lee, this guy, he just didn't communicate with anyone for what we saw. Like this was revealed by a lot of insiders saying, I'm not saying that this is true, but for what we saw from the information that is gathered right now and showed up to us, the community, the Chris Lee, he was lying to 343, saying that features were good to go, but they were not, saying something that wasn't there was just not happening. So like when you have this type of miscommunication in the studio, like nothing's going to work out. And I think he is also involved with this main core issue with the sleep space engine actually. What do you guys think? Makes sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
does.
heard that rumor, Fabio. I heard that rumor
I do
that
think it's a
that
viable question
Microsoft
though.
had no idea. Yeah.
I do think that that is the. I think all questions are on the table. I don't think anything is um, dismissible at this point. I think everything literally is on the table, from Chris Lee to the old console to
Yeah.
everything. Just everything, man. You know, the engine, everything.
Sad. And it's
Yeah.
just like I like it, when it comes to, and especially I don't like to see people saying that Halo Infinite is dead. I don't like seeing people saying Fire 343. But when we see what is going on, I cannot just argue with them because I can only say I understand why they're doing this.
Hmm.
And I
It's
don't
tricky.
necessarily, it's really complicated. Go on, Peter.
You all better watch yourselves. The boss is in the chat. Just saying.
Hey, I'm behaving.
Oh, you mean Umbra? Umbra's been in the chat.
Oh damn!
My is he is Powerman, Bush, and myself involved in this somehow? Like we get worried about something.
Oh, it's just risk it. You know, the host and they better watch themselves.
The whole family's here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
it
we
is.
go. Beautiful.
I respect.
Big turnout for Xbox Infinite. Glad to see everybody here.
Synergy,
Synergy, community.
Bob
Infinite.
always, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Peter. What you were going to say?
Oh look, I don't know. My main issue is I don't want them to lose the soul of Halo. I don't know if it can replicate it in a new engine. That would be my main concern. If it can be fixed, and like I said, only Microsoft can answer this. If it can be replicated, I don't know if it can. Like, why haven't they fixed it? This is the main question. Why hasn't the engine been fixed? They've had more than enough time to fix it. And Brisket was one of the first people to point this out. The contractors are only allowed to work for 10 months at a time. And after that, they have to, in their contract, it's stipulated, and this is a Microsoft thing, have to take a 6-month break. And so what as soon as you bring somebody new in, you have to then train them up and then get them used to the engine, tell them everything that's happened before that. And that takes time. And then they're only allowed to work on it for 10 months at a time as well. That needs to be stopped. That whole
That's a
process
union
of
thing.
hiring contractors,
Yeah.
I think, pushes you behind, as well. But look, I think although there's been no confirmation, I do believe it's the engine that's causing all these issues. I really do. I can't see it being anything else. And so I just don't know where they go from here. Or I just want them to fix Halo. I love the game. I still love the game.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the general consensus. We all just want Halo to be fixed so we can play the game that we love.
Exactly.
Well, I do. If the coalition is involved in this, then I feel better, because if there are
I
any,
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
depending on how close Slipspace is in its construction to Unreal Engine 5, and how many assets can be moved over, and with the coalition, if the coalition is involved, then I feel better right away.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
Yeah.
that
And if
transition may
anybody
not be
knows
as painful.
Unreal,
Did you guys see
if
the
anybody
Gears
knows Unreal
6 thing
Engine, it's
yesterday that
coalition.
launched?
So.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Gears 6 little teaser that they put out? I think
I
it
don't think
happened
it's
yesterday.
real. I don't think it's real.
Wasn't
I
that
don't
was
think
wait
What if it is, Doomy?
wait
Oh, but if it is,
wait,
it's really
What if it is, Doomy?
exciting. But
wait was there a teaser for Gears 6?
it was literally
Yes,
just like the
30
loading
second
screen.
teaser.
Is
It
it
wasn't.
still there? Is it still out there?
Yes,
yeah.
I believe it is.
Yeah, it
Okay,
should be.
good show to you guys. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just go check.
Bye-bye.
Umbra
Yeah.
has said it's fake.
Who
That's
believes in
the
Umbra? No,
law
just
right
kidding.
there.
I'm about to say, yeah, how does he know?
I don't know.
He
how
just
he knows.
woke up.
He just woke up. Is Umbra a bat, a vampire? What's that? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Thember in the chat. Shout out to
Yeah.
everybody chatting on
You know it all.
Doomy's channel. Yeah. Shout out to Umbra. Shout out to Risk It. And let's get into our next topic. So, did anybody buy Stadia?
what? Who?
Does anybody have a Stadia?
No.
What?
No.
I never heard of that.
Well, it's turned out it's going to be a risk-free investment if you did, because Stadia is dead, and Google is going to stop all live services for Stadia on
Great.
January the 18th, 2023. And they are going to refund all Stadia purchases. They're going to refund any hardware purchase, any software purchase, any DLC purchase. It will be refunded to the purchaser.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
Pretends
Yeah.
to be shocked.
To anyone that has a Stadia, you can keep that with you and say this is a relic from a kinder past or something
I
like
don't
that.
think it came to Australia, did it, Pete? Okay.
Well, okay, that's a good answer.
Oh,
I guess that's
oh no!
Riveting.
I think
Uh,
343
is he
still on
gone?
Pete's back.
Ah,
I'm
shit.
using
You
the
already
laptop now.
changed.
Look, we
Oh,
got
okay.
two
Nice.
Pete's now.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I was at two Jedi Peters in the it's a Jedi trick.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, a Jedi.
There we
tree.
go.
I
There we
love
go.
You
I
got
just had both
Jedi-
of them up just to make sure it was working.
For one
I wanted to
second
make
we
sure I
had
got it
Jet.
first.
For one second we had Jedi Knight Peter and as well Sith Knight Peter with us here.
Grey Sith Knight.
So yeah.
So Peter,
What is Stadia? Because I don't think we have that in Australia.
It's a concept.
It's basically Xbox xCloud, but by Google. And
Right.
so it was it's a streaming gaming service that Google put out, and the actual technical design behind it is absolutely fantastic, and I think most would argue better than xCloud actually makes it. But I mean, they just don't have any game stuff. They don't have that killer app that actually propelled them, and I think it was a little bit too expensive. I can't remember the pricing off the top of my head, but I do remember when it launched. The pricing was a little bit suspect, and you had to pay for your games on top of that. So
Yes.
yeah,
I think the biggest killer to Stadia really wasn't. It definitely wasn't the technology because I've tried GeForce Now, I've tried XCloud, and I've tried Stadia, and Stadia was by far the best experience as far as latency and artifacting and like as far as like cloud gaming. But their business model was so bad. It was a closed ecosystem. They were not cross playing with Steam or Epic Game Store. At one point, they were not. You had to buy your games full price. So if you owned a game and it was also on Stadia, you could not access it from your PC library. You had to purchase it again, and then go back, and now you just use Stadia. So it was really, I don't know. It was just a bad business model, and I think that's why that it's failing. I mean, if they would have came out with any type of hardware, that would have been okay. You know what I mean? Somewhere in between the PS5 and the Xbox, and it came out with a box and actually, put it out there, then I think it would have been way better off than just strictly cloud.
Yeah, look, I think the nail in the coffin for Stadia happened as soon as Microsoft bought Bethesda, ZeniMax. I think that they were really trying to buy Bethesda. We know this. Microsoft ended up getting the purchase, and as soon as that happened, I think Google, you know what they're typically like. If they don't get what they want, and if they don't have success straight away, then they typically just, let the product die. And I do feel sorry for anybody that purchased games on Stadia. I don't know what happens to that money. Like, what do they get a refund? I wouldn't have thought that they would. So disappointing, because the concept is fantastic, and the actual product, like Powerman said, it's probably the best out of Luna, Stadia, and xCloud. Theirs probably ran the best.
Yeah, definitely.
So what I think happened to Stadia is I think Microsoft saw the way Stadia went, and with Stadia, you never really owned anything. It's not like you had a digital game that you could actually download to your console. You had a digital game that you purchased, and you could only access it through a service that you also purchased. Instead of Game Pass, which I think Stadia came out before Game Pass really caught fire. Game Pass is right. What you do is you charge somebody a subscription, and you give them all these games. Then you're okay with it. I'm not really, I'm only paying like $15 a month. I'm okay with having 300 plus games to play. I don't care that I don't own them. I can still play all these games, and it's linked to my Xbox account. So I'm still getting the achievements. I'm still showing the work, even though I don't own it. I still have an Xbox subscription, a Game Pass subscription. It's still in the ecosystem. I can play it on my console, or I can play it on anything. And Stadia was just like keeping everything out of touch. And yes, you got to experience the game, but did you really have anything to show for it other than the experience within yourself of the game? And that was the disconnect.
Yeah,
I think they killed Stadia.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I thought that they should have went in with the same model as Game Pass, and they should have ate that for a little while, because fortunately for Microsoft, they have half of their base in the United States on Game Pass, so they're making somewhat of a profit, but they're putting it back into the service, and I think that that's something that Google didn't look at properly. I really do think that they looked at the positives and forgot about you just look, the positives outweigh the cons, but not realizing. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of companies do wrong is not having someone who actually games on their board or whatever, that makes their decisions, because somebody would have listened. I would have absolutely told them, like, listen, if you're going to jump in this, you're going to have to be in this for the long haul, because you're going to have to gain people's trust. Gaming is one of them things where I already have my specific console I like, most people, just one. And if that's the case, you have to prove to them that I'm going to be around, and whatever you get from me, you're going to still have. And that's one of Google's problems with that. Now, what's going to happen is you get another company that's going to want to come in here, and they're going to have to pay the price because of what Google did. You're going to you're going to have to prove even harder now because
And
what Google pulled. Nobody's going to want to buy a game on a console they think is going to be going in a year or two. It just makes it hard. So in this instance, I think that would have been a great model for them to eat some of it for a little while, even if you're not making a profit, as long as you're not, going in a red constantly in huge numbers. But after a while, it would have worked out for you. But yanking the the lifeline on that was that was kind of rough for that. It's gonna make it hard for anybody else to try to get in the game and um, ring. And more than likely, one of the better things I've always said, if you want to get in the gaming, is software. You know what I mean? If you don't worry about making a console, make it, get software or own, like Tencent and Embracer own studios. Do something like that. If you're not gonna make a console, you would be better off doing that.
And look, I don't think Google is finished either. Because if they were finished, then they wouldn't be buying everything back, refunding everybody. They're still trying to keep that sense of security with their customer base, as small as it may be. Because when the next thing that Google comes out with, people are going to be more apt to go ahead and try it out because they're like, well, the last thing didn't work out, and Google took care of me.
yeah, but I think they're also like really trying to
Mm.
avoid a PR nightmare that would come along with if somebody went out there and purchased $300 worth of games on the Stadia platform, and then you tell them in January they have zero access to their property from that point on. I mean, that online and social media, that would just destroy any positive PR that Google would have about customer service and any other product that Google would ever um, come out with in the future. I mean, like, Google already owned these Blade servers, right? So like the idea of Stadia already kind of exists because these systems that they ran Stadia on, they already existed for other purposes. So for them, the real nail in the coffin for me was when they decided to stop to not make first party content, because that already told me that they were kind of stepping away from the real commitment of being an actual platform. Because at the end of the day, you're going to need content. You need first party content, especially a system or a platform like Stadia. You need a good reason to give people to be like, okay, I'm gonna make the risk. I'm gonna take the risk and go out there and use this platform and buy this game on your platform because it's so good. And when they first initially came out and they were talking about buying first party studios and developing first party games, they were, I was like, wow, this, might be a thing, and the latency was good. But once they backed out of the first party content, I mean, the writing was on the wall. So hopefully they learn from their mistake. I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon Luna is right behind them. I mean, that's never taken off. GeForce Now actually, I think, has some of the best in xCloud. But the reason why those are successful is because you're accessing games you already own, right? xCloud, you're accessing Game Pass over the cloud, right? So it's just like an Xbox, but you're over the cloud. GeForce Now, you're accessing your PC library over the cloud. So you're not having to go purchase a game twice in order to play it on a cloud service that you're not even really sure is going to be that great. You know what I mean?
At least Luna has an app, Lost Ark, which was quite successful for them. Their MMO, their very
Lost Ark is actually really successful. Yeah, it's actually very successful. And that's the thing is, like, Amazon is doing it at least smart in some ways. They started with New World, and it took off really hard, and it kind of but people are still playing that game. Lost Ark is another solid game that's come out of Amazon, and they're doing it right because, like I said, they have that first party content they can associate with the service. You know what I mean? Like Amazon, Lost Ark, okay, that is fairly successful. A lot of PC players love that game. So, Stadia didn't have that anymore. They were going to, and they were securing exclusives and pushing it out there. But You know, I just think that they would have been better off, you know, R&D on a box, you know, and maybe like 2 or 3 first party studios and just start up like, you know, like everybody else does. But I think it's a scary market. And, you know, if anything, like look at Sega, you know what I mean? Like Sega was prominent and successful, and then look where they are now. So you never know.
This is true. And I think, you know, I think Microsoft has really got a lot to do because Microsoft started going out and they started buying a bunch of studios, and what it did was it filled Game Pass. And I saw a tweet yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, that really kind of got on my nerves because somebody was making a case against Game Pass
I
because
put it
they
in my one, guys. If you go to my page, you'll see it. I've pasted the link in there.
that was the one
Sorry.
cutie with the guy saying that Game Pass games are there one day and gone the next. Pretty much. I mean,
No, because
they're
it's
in
not
there
even the
and then
same
they.
business model. You can't even compare Stadia to Game Pass or xCloud. It's not even the same. It's not even the same ballpark. It's like you could say that if you said, okay, well, with xCloud, you have to go and buy Gears 5 in order to play it separately from your like Game Pass subscription. You see what I'm saying? Like Stadia Plus had, or Stadia Pro or whatever it's called. Like you had access to a few games, kind of like they do with PS Plus or whatever. But like regular games, like Ubisoft titles and stuff like that, you had to buy those games. Like you had to spend like full price to buy these games to play them on a cloud service. You know what I mean? It's like that's the difference. Like it makes no sense to even like compare it to Xbox or xCloud because like you're accessing a library of Game Pass games or your own purchase titles. So you're not making you're not making another purchase to play on the go or on the cloud. You know what I'm saying? And that's the major difference between the two.
Yeah, I was speaking on as far as the demise of Stadia, because Stadia really didn't have. You didn't see Stadia go out and buy studios like Microsoft did to fill their service, because if they had like actual studios that were under their belt that made really popular games,
Yeah.
you would feel more like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I do own this game or somewhat, because I'm always going to have access to this game under their umbrella. And it wasn't like that. Everything you
Yeah.
saw from Stadia was third party.
Anything major exclusives wise, like what was a timed exclusive that was going to end up on other platforms. You know, anyways, you know, so like
Yeah,
I
they had a
think
good deal with
Guilt.
Destiny too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and that's, you know, that was okay. You know, and it was a good jumping point, right, to get people excited about it, because you know, accessing Destiny via the cloud and with decent latency is a good look. You know what I mean? They have a lot of content. You don't have to play competitively if you don't want to in Destiny 2. So, but you know, it really goes to show, and this really shows you why Microsoft is so aggressive in purchasing content, because in order to keep these subscriptions alive, they need content, and they need content on a regular basis, right? Like as soon as like Netflix or something like they start to fall off and there's no content, all the articles start to pop off about how this service is dying and things are going to go falling off, and oh no, there's not, and then another good show comes out and everybody resubscribes. You know what I mean? So like that's why that Phil and Satya are so aggressive on getting this content, because once they have all those under one umbrella, then they can actually comfortably start saying, okay, we're going to have a couple of AAA games like every couple of months. You know what I mean? And then people can start saying, okay, it makes zero sense not to have Game Pass, you know?
I think potentially Stadia was just too early, because Xbox Cloud Gaming hadn't been released before they announced this. So I honestly think it was just the timing that has made them fail the most, and then obviously the lack of proactiveness, lack of enthusiasm, I suppose, because this wasn't even on my radar, to be honest, until I announced that they were failing. So that just goes to show, like, no one is going to miss them, no one's going to notice them gone. It's a shame. It's just it's business and it is what it is. The market at the moment is being flooded by some very big players. Xbox, PlayStation, they're all getting into cloud gaming, and they already have all these people under their belt, so everyone's at a loss pretty much.
Yeah, Microsoft is leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. Everybody's playing catch up, and to be honest with you, I think it's a perfect business model, and the ones that don't carbon copy it are going to see failure, because it is, I mean, you know, going back to the guy on Twitter that said that the games are, they're there for a little while, but then they leave, and if you're not finished with the game, well, then you're screwed. But your first party games are always going to be in Game Pass. It's always going to be the home of your first party games, with the exception of some licensing issue, which we've already seen from the older Forza Horizon games. We've already seen some licensing issues with the older Forza Horizon games that are not in Game Pass anymore. But other than that, it's always going to be there, and their first party it's 20-something studios strong. And COVID has hurt it. And let me tell you, 2023, I already have a backlog. In 2023, I'm just going to drown. It's going to be that bad.
Oh my God.
So, speaking of 2023, our next topic. So, if you were a fan of Sea of Thieves, or you weren't a fan of Sea of Thieves, its
You should be.
competitors. Yes.
You should be.
I'm still waiting on those. I'm still waiting on those private
Sea-
servers, though, so I don't
Sea
have
of-
to deal with
Sea of
griefers.
Thieves. Sea of Thieves. Either you like it or you're wrong.
You don't.
Simple as that.
I like Fabio. This is good. This is what we need. You like
He's
it
our
or get out.
Brazilian gangster. He hustles milk.
Yeah, I bet.
So, Skull and Bones from Ubisoft. There's been a release date update. The game is getting pushed. It's getting pushed for polishing and balancing ahead of its worldwide launch. It's going to be releasing now March 9th of 2023. As if 2023 could not get even more packed. Another game has been pushed to winter of 2023.
Well, they just killed that game.
Right? I mean, whatever
You know,
hope
you
it
know
had.
what?
I think it was
disagree.
already dead.
I
think it was
disagree.
already dead, actually. Go on, Cutie.
Oh.
I disagree. Their initial release was around God of War. That is the biggest mistake they could ever make, releasing at the same time as them. Hey, Drew and TJ. Yeah, so I think it was a good move. Secondly, they are going to release a beta, so you will get a chance to play the game sooner than March, but they haven't released the time of that yet. But honestly, they've been working on this for a long time. If they can push it back and fix the little things that are going to bug us and things we're going to complain about on Twitter, then why not? And yeah, I'm going to be too busy playing God of War. So sorry, I'm busy.
The only reason why I
I'm glad.
disagree with you a little, Doomy, I think I agree with your point though, but this is a dry year, so any game that comes out now is going to get some burn because there aren't too many games going to be released in winter. I think I don't even remember any games that's going to be around that time frame besides.
Look, I'm Australian. I'm outside in summer. Like it doesn't bother me. I'm not inside.
Right. But I'm just saying though, like there aren't too many other games. So if it did come out, even though you have people who play it on PlayStation, it'd be PlayStation primarily. You still got Xbox players who would play it, I guess. But
Game Pass month after month is releasing stuff for us, so it's not we're not dry. We're not dry.
No. I'm not saying we are. I'm just saying that as far as new games is concerned, I'm just looking at it from that standpoint. If you move it down the line in March, where you got like 3 games dropping in March. I don't even think that's a good month. If anything, you should push it all the way down to December of next year. Then, I mean, it's just a bad time. You got about, I think it's about 16 games I wrote down that are going to be. I might be able to give or take, up or down, but it's way too many games coming out next year for me to push it into that area, unless I have to. Unless I have to. If I don't have to, I'm not doing it. It's way too many games, and I'm not even sure if we know of some of the other smaller games that are coming out next year. Um,
The fact of the matter is, this isn't about other games. This is about this game, and this game was put through the insider program, and they are fixing issues that are in the game now that have been flagged from the insider program, so that when we get to it, it's going to be much better. And I don't understand how anyone can be frustrated with that. It doesn't matter. It's not about you. It's not about other games. It's about this game. These people are working on this. This is their baby. Okay.
right, but this isn't a game that people aren't looking
Ah,
forward to. This is a game nobody asked for. This is a game nobody's looking forward to, and you
here's the
want as
thing.
many eyes on it as possible. And you put it with everything else, it'll really get swept beneath the rug.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. For how long can a game get delayed and still have the same excitement that people had when it got announced first at release? Because like Skull and Bones is a game that we all saw how we got where the idea came from. Like Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed Black Flag was a huge success. Everyone just loved the both mechanics. They thought, let's make a game only about that. Okay, nice, fair enough. Then it never came out, and then we had Sea of Thieves, and while the beginning was really rough, now it is one of the most successful games at Twitch, and as well it is the most beloved rare IP for what it seems is the most popular right now. And like they thought, shit, now we have to adapt our game to that. So we are talking about a game that was delayed, 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 delayed,
Five
delayed.
delays. 5 delays. If we're
I
gonna put a
don't
number on
care. I don't care when it got
Really?
first released,
5?
when it got first
yeah,
announced.
5.
When it got first, like when it gets announced in 2020, in 2014, and it's going to be just released in 2023, we got a problem here.
Ah,
I don't care if it's just 5 delays,
wow.
but
Well,
like,
Hey,
yeah, I agree,
real
Fab.
quick,
You know,
guys, real
uh,
quick. I'm gonna just make this statement real quick so we remember because I'll forget. I got a developer did answer me with the thing about converting. I'm going to pass it over to Bobby because Bobby can read it at the end of the show or whatever he wants to. But the answer is a little more complicated than just doing it. It is possible, but I'll send it to you right now, Bobby. All right.
All right. Well, put Bobby's master's in electrical engineering and computer science to use. Bobby will decipher.
Very good.
Yes.
nice. So can I
I
continue?
yeah, look,
actually just
I
got.
think that what Riska just wrote in the chat is very apt. All the games are coming anyway. I think this game
Yeah.
is slated for release November 8th. That was a week after Modern Warfare 2. We've also got Scorn, on the 21st. I think we've also got Plague's Tale on the 18th of
High on
October.
life.
Yeah, High on Life. So I don't
There's
think
going to be
it
some really
really
good
mattered
stuff.
when this game was going to release. I think that Bushido's right. No one asked for this game. The only reason this game got made, I believe, is because it got funding from the Singaporean government. Because Ubisoft is trying to launch a brand new studio there, but I can't see this game being
No,
successful either way,
like
unfortunately.
I think at a time it could be successful, but right now it's not going to be able to generate the hype that people had before, and neither is going to generate that much interest as people had before. Like imagine for example, so once again make the question, for how long does a game has the chance of having the same success that it would head with the hype that it got announced before when it gets delayed for a long time.
I
Like we're
think
dealing, like Skull and Bones is an example of
yeah.
this. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is another one from Ubisoft as well. And
Oh yeah,
yes, I gotta mention about this Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Do you guys think if Half-Life 3 got released right now, it would be as amazing as we were thinking before at the time?
You know, we talk about delays a lot, and I think probably the only thing that has sort of like permission to
Prince of
be
Persia,
delayed,
go off.
permission to from the fans to be delayed is either a sequel to a game or a game like, for example, Hogwarts Legacy that is linked to a very beloved movie franchise or book franchise.
yeah, yep.
Yes,
That is the only time where it's generally considered okay. I'm really looking forward to this anyway. I know what they've put out before. It's going to be good, and I want it to be good.
Right.
So look,
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
I have to
point.
give a
Yeah.
W to Umber as well. He actually called this
Yes.
delay, and we
Did he
thought,
really?
"No, there's no way. There's no way.
it
they're
wasn't
gonna
even
delay
on
it
air,
again."
but yes.
And yeah, he did. He actually called the delay. So shout out to him, my Xbox Infinite brother. Can't believe he actually called it right. I look, the difference that I see between Sea of Thieves, which is, you know, had its second life and done really, really well, is in that game you work as a team. You know, that's what makes the game fun. You've got one person doing the sails, you've got another person repairing the boat, you've got another person loading the cannons, another person shooting the cannons. The
Yes.
problem I have with Skull and Bones is everybody has their own ship. Everybody's doing their own thing. So although that it's co-op, I don't see that cohesion in gameplay, that everybody working together aspect, which I think makes Sea of Thieves incredibly successful.
Yes, good point. Good points.
I think the mistake they made was it was good when it was with Black Flag. We loved it. Black Flag instantly became my favorite
Exactly.
Assassin's Creed that year. Um, Origins and Odyssey still very good in the game, but
Exactly.
I didn't think that it was good enough for it to have its own game. I might be wrong too. I've been wrong plenty of times about a game, but if it fails, we won't know whether it fails because, well, of course I'll try it out, but we won't necessarily know if it failed because of so many different things going on with it. You know, did people really want this game? Did you do a good job with the game? Um, it's a few things. I know one other developer worked for Ubisoft. He was telling me the story. He said, "Listen, if you want them to make a game and you have an idea," he said, "just say to them, I've done some research that shows we can make a lot of money with this." He said, no matter what it is, more likely they'll say, "Oh, okay, we'll make it then. Make it, make it." I was like, "Are you serious?" He said, "Listen," he said, "they're greedy at our company." He said, he said, "if you could prove to them this is going to make money and it don't take a lot to convince them," he said, "they'll make it." So somebody convinced them this would be a good game or a good idea.
How did they make this game before they made Splinter Cell? That I
I,
will never
oh my,
understand.
Pete,
Mm.
Pete, if I could high five you virtually, I would. Like, I'm still mad. Like, where's it? Listen, if you're not going to use that IP, sell the blinking thing.
Yeah. Let someone else do it. Yeah.
Stop hiding that, man. We went through a whole generation without Splinter Cell. A whole generation. That's ridiculous.
Well, write a letter. Go on.
The-
You give them what for, Bushido? You tell them.
I miss
Virtual
Sam
high
Sure, they'll
Fisher.
do it just for you.
I miss Sam Fisher.
Okay, I'm gonna show my age again. Bushido said virtual high five, and the first thing that went through my head was that scene in Demolition Man where they go to high five and they stop and they do this. They circle around each other's hands.
Oh yeah,
Don't.
yeah.
Oh,
That's funny.
great movie.
Yeah, us
Check
old
it out.
guys have a tendency of doing that, going back to old movies that, and obscure things that happened in the movie. You wouldn't remember, but I sure enough did. I seen it enough.
Well, so Outriders turned out to be a good game.
Ah, really?
I'm gonna stop
Sure
myself
about that?
before I get into the
Really
next
sure
topic.
about that?
I just want to shout out to everybody who's watching on DoomCutie's channel. She's pairing from my channel, KY Bob, Game Set Live. We do the show every Thursday. And as a guest, she was able to pair the show to her channel.
Thank you,
Because
Kay by Bob, for letting me.
everybody wants to hang out and have fun.
Yeah, of
That's
course,
a
of
fact.
course.
That's a fact.
But just while we're taking a little break, I've just received a press release from PAX Australia. If
It's
any of
just
you are
in from
interested.
Australia. Okay.
Just fresh off the press, I should
Wow.
say. I don't know if you can say that in email. Anyway,
We don't
I
get
don't
this
even.
very often. Please.
So,
Another giant spider.
Mr. Yoshida from Sony
Yes. Oh, you said
Interactive
Yoshida.
Entertainment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's going to be a speaker at PAX on Friday. So he will be in Melbourne, and I'll see him in the flesh, and maybe we'll take a selfie. Probably not, but I will try.
Please ask him to speak Australian, okay? Please.
Ask him to speak Australian.
Australian
Ask
is
him to say
English,
g'day, mate.
Fabio.
Exactly.
God.
That's the joke. That's the joke, goddammit.
Yo, that's what I would have said.
For fuck's sake.
Oh,
So yeah,
man.
so now he's actually the head of PlayStation Indies. So rather than being, the president, he stepped down to do more indie stuff. Got to be the.
For
What?
1 sec, I thought I just thought of a joke here, but I prefer I'll tell the joke when
What do
we
you
end.
mean?
No, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's because of Australian speaking English. Yeah, it's just.
Well, we are.
After TJ wrote that in the chat, all I hear is you guys speaking in Yoda voice the whole time. That's all I can hear now. Thanks, TJ.
All I hear from you guys is oi all the time.
Oh.
That's it.
Australian is English, it is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
English did you speak?
Okay. Why is this so English? The Queen's
Why
not
is
here.
this happening? Why is this happening?
Because someone mentioned that Australians have their own language and it all went off the rails.
I mean, like, why do they speak? Why do you guys speak English? The Queen's not here anymore. Okay, just kidding.
Because of the Queen. What do you mean, the Queen's English? I don't think the Queen even spoke the Queen's English anymore.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Okay, I'm banned from the show forever. Bye.
I'll post the link to the announcement in my YouTube
Twitter
chat.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll put it on Twitter. But I can't type in this one on here. I don't know why. Otherwise I would.
Look at Doomy all linked up with people in the industry now. Look at that,
Yeah,
man.
I'm on media lists now, so that's really
Yeah,
exciting.
snap! Oh, you the next Cole Eastwood? Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
She's
if I'm
got
cool,
goals
as
and
cool.
she's going places.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully she doesn't forget me on the way as she steps on the rest of the Xbox Infinite podcast members on her way up.
Okay, so break over. Should we go on?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, too.
Break over.
So okay, break over. And Bob, what you were
That's
saying?
Bobby's
before,
fault, though. Bobby has to wrangle everybody.
You were lying to us saying that Outriders is a good game. Go on.
Outriders is a good game.
It's a good game.
World Slayers literally changed that game. It is an amazing game. I thought it was amazing before, but what it was lacking and what it could use, World Slayers gave it tenfold. It is an amazing game.
And the way it ends, it makes make you feel like they're going to do something else. I hope they are.
Okay, so that's what I'm getting into.
Yeah,
so
I think Game Pass was fantastic for Outriders.
Yes, it was. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, but it seems that
sure.
they were. It seems that they were like saying that wasn't there a really a big beef between Outriders, Square Enix, and Xbox because saying that Game Pass did not give them enough
It
profits.
it's Square and People Can Fly's fault. The contract is written so that the money goes to Square, and I guess they made the wrong assumption that they were supposed to get that money, and they were not.
Yeah, it had
But
nothing to do with Xbox, Fabio.
yeah,
But
it
you know
had
what,
more to do
Square
with
Enix
the
are like?
deal.
They're never happy with
Hmm.
any of their Western studios, and it's a big reason why they moved them on. You know,
Yep.
Embracer Group now owns them now.
Yeah, but they got the money from the expansion though. I forgot how much they sold, but it sold very well.
Hopefully, People Can Fly can do something new, something special, something good, because I think they have a lot of talents. Yes, I am one of the few people that like Gears of War Judgment. Okay, shame on me.
Yeah, he should be James.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sorry, I didn't say
game
that out
it
loud.
should
I
have
I tried to
had
know,
keep
I
that one
know,
in.
PS8 was
I
attached
know,
to
Yeah,
it.
I
I'm
know,
sorry, it really
I
should have.
know, I
yeah,
know.
You know what made me so mad about Judgment is a man or woman should not compete with other members of their team in campaign for points. That made me so mad. I'm like, this isn't a competition, this is a story. The
I
story
agree.
is what's supposed to carry us, not how much better I do than him or her.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I love Baird and I love Cole, and I think their story could have been told so much better.
better.
But
Yeah,
Okay, so back to Outriders. So People Can Fly, the developer of Outriders, they and I'm going to break your heart, Mr. Bushido. It's not a nail in the coffin, but it's a bad sign. Okay.
I think I
They
heard this
have
one already.
they have had a project called Project Dagger
Yes, I have
in
heard
the
this one.
work, and they had an agreement with Grand Theft Auto's publisher, Take-Two Interactive. I'm assuming to publish this game, and that agreement will be no more. Take-Two Interactive is cutting ties with People Can Fly. I don't know what that means for Project Dagger, and I don't think any of us know what Project Dagger was going to be.
Yeah,
But it doesn't. I mean, it's just a publisher. I mean, that the publisher doesn't do the work. The developers do the work. There's a lot of good publishers out there, but it's going to be a setback for sure.
yeah, I remember
Uh,
seeing that, and I wondered what Dagger was. Um, it it didn't bother me that much because I can't miss something I didn't know anything about. But I wondered if it was part of the expansion. Like only thing I could do was just speculate because I have no clue what they're doing. But one thing I will say is that with the success of Outriders, after they were able to fix everything and get it humming the way it is now, it really shows the potential of that studio. And I would trust that studio with making anything else now when it comes to another IP or whatever the case may be. I would be very interested if I was a publisher and what they would whatever they're working on.
they also made Bulletstorm before that, and
Yeah, I
that game
remember
was
that.
quite
Yeah,
successful as well. It was actually a really fun game.
yeah, it was a fun
Um,
game.
And look, Project Dagger is still going forward, guys. So although
Yeah,
Take-Two
right,
Interactive pulled out of their publishing rights, it's still being made. So I
right,
dare say that they're going to look for another publisher. And look,
right.
after the success of Game Pass, who's not to say that Xbox
Yep,
could, either pick them up or then test them out like they're doing with IOI at the moment with Project Dragon and
right.
what is it, Avalanche with Contraband. I think it would be a good fit. They've made a first-party game for Microsoft before in terms of Gears of War Judgment. Bulletstorm came out. I think it was. I'm not sure if it was exclusive to Xbox, but I do believe they had the
I don't
marketing
remember
rights
either.
to it. So they do have a long-term agreement with them, or a long-standing uh, relationship with them. And so who knows? Like I said before, Game Pass was a big reason for the success of Outriders. And Bushido's right. Outriders is a great, fun game to play. And so I could see them teaming up again.
Nice.
so, who here has actually finished Outriders World Slayers?
Sorry.
No.
Uh, of course, me.
Okay, well, I mean, don't give it.
I haven't, mate.
I love the game, but I've not really got to ever play. When I was able to play the game with other players, it was still having the connection issue.
I think you
for
played.
So
I think you
I
played
think,
me
like-
once
Like
with
I gotta be,
the new one.
I gotta be honest. Bob was like when Outriders was having those
Yes,
really
yes.
big connection issues. Bob was like the only person that I saw that had never had any issues when playing the game.
yeah, the
Wow,
couple
that's
times that I
you.
did play it in
You and I have
multiplayer, I didn't have an issue, but the other people in my party did. And then when I really got serious about it, I had issues. And then so I stopped it. And now World Slayers, I went back and it's kind of it's on everybody's back burner that haven't went back and checked out what World Slayers has done for it. So nobody else is playing it, and I'm stuck by myself. You know how that goes. That's why I haven't finished Halo Infinite yet, because I'm by myself. Thank you, 343. Bonnie.
All by
That's
myself.
right. I don't want to be all by myself.
Oh, Bobby, all you had to do was call me. I would have played Outriders with you.
Yeah.
Well, that was the big reason I didn't purchase it, Bob,
Brother's like,
because
yeah, I get too late now.
I really wanted a team to play it with, and no one had purchased it. So I would have done the same, mate. I still haven't purchased it, and I'm still looking for someone to run through the game with, because I really, really enjoy playing Outriders. It's it's a really fun game.
Well, I think you're just gonna have to get Bobby's schedule, because his schedule's all over the place when it comes to playing games. And if you want to do a 3-man team, but if it's just two,
I don't trust you anymore, Bushido. I mean, we
three-man
were
team?
meant to play Revenant
You
together,
sure about that?
and then the next day,
Three-man team?
I don't know, you were
Really?
playing it with somebody else, although you said you were going to play with me and Umbra. You just went off and played with Inferno.
I'm
The
just
funny part
imagining.
is, Umber blames it on you. It's funny because Umber blames it on you, because he's like, yeah, man, Pete, he keeps selling me out. And I was like, oh, man, Pete. I said, I ain't talked to him about it.
I saw that. No. See, I told him the truth. It was all you, bro.
Oh, man.
I'm just imagining
You boys are
Bushido.
terrible.
I'm just imagining Bushido with his 3-man game idea and saying, "Want to play a game?" or something like that.
You got everybody now pointing fingers at everybody else.
You're a weirdo, yeah.
Yeah, Umber's like, yeah, I'm waiting for Pete. And I'm like, you guys are on the same freaking podcast. How do you not communicate with each other? He said it's not true. Umber said it's not true. Don't listen to him. Yes, it is true. You were blaming it on Pete. He was like, yeah, I'm waiting for Pete. We did the same thing with Remnant from the Ashes. He's like, well, I said I was going to play with Pete. And I was like, I see Pete on every day. Like, where's... anyway. So I just left it alone.
Yeah,
I should have went straight to
I'm
Pete.
on every day, and someone
Yeah, I
just
should have went
passed
straight
me
to
up.
Pete.
Don't know who it was. Yeah, I mean...
Hey, listen, Inferno will back me up too. Now, I forgot about that. Inferno will back me up. Yes.
We've got Inferno on the show. Cannot wait. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, he will back me up.
Cannot wait. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
He's still denying it in the chat.
Hey, Doom, isn't this the wall we were sneaking down when we died last night? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Hey, I've put my footage up, and that's the footage that I am sticking with. That's how it happened.
Giant blob.
Spoiler alert: Bob went down first.
I was the last one alive, and I actually attacked first. So
DOOMCUTIE tried to save me, and
I
because
did,
she
and then I
stopped
died.
to revive me, she died.
Wait a second.
But then
I
the big mama was coming.
first,
That's
and then
why.
I died.
Yeah, that's what you saw. I know what I saw. You were like, you were like, fuck you, Bob. You're on your own. You were up front. I'm sorry.
Okay, maybe I did that. Maybe that's.
He said maybe.
I
It's quite possible.
Look, all I know is that these two boys were scaredy cats, and didn't even want to adventure around. And Fabio was like, come on, we need to do something. And Bob was like, no, and trying to hold off. And I was like, all right, fine. So I just like wandered off myself. And then Fabio was like, oh, wait, wait, come back. And then Bob was like, okay, we're doing this now. So that's essentially the whole situation. And then when I played last night with the Xbox Infinite crew, Umbra, he's like, nah, I ain't touching that. You got, nah, that looks too dangerous. I'm gonna save myself.
Umbra
and
would literally go 5 meters away from the base, and he goes, "Oh, I'm not exploring anymore. That's it. I'm done."
Yeah. Maybe we need to play in creative mode or something. I don't know.
Hey, listen, imagine playing a game for you with yourself for a year.
Mode, is there?
Or maybe
there is.
Player.
Oh my god, Umbra! Holy shit!
I'm black. My black instinct.
Umbra. Damn, Umbra.
I'll make you kick it on.
I gotta put that on screen, Umbra. That's funny.
I don't know what that
peeks
means.
before he leaves.
He's an involuntary.
Oh my god!
It's an involuntary respawn.
Nope. No.
Yeah, see, the small one took me down, and then while I was down, I turned around and I saw Mama coming, and I was like, guys.
Oh, look out there, Kate! I saw somebody turn around and leave.
Yeah, that's
Yo.
Fabio said, "Peace, I'm out."
Yo, he was out.
No, it was not okay. I was left alone.
Dewey said that's not okay.
Yeah, get your crew together and play grounded, guys. It's fully fleshed out now. I think.
Yes, you'll really see how brave they are
under the banner of Microsoft. So congratulations to them. Very small team that put this game together. At the same time, they're making Avowed. At the same time, they're making Outer Worlds 2. Obsidian and Pentiment. So
I think it's a 12-man team.
The best pickups that Microsoft had.
Yeah,
and congratulations to them.
It's a fantastic game. I played it when it was bare bones, and I still thought it was really good then. With the new content, it's going to be amazing.
Keep in mind, this game's made for 8-year-olds. So,
just to answer Umbra, I'm the one who ran. Yeah, I'm the one who
said yes, Fabio ran. And I was like, no, if you would have hit him the same amount of times that I did, we would have got him. But
I died to the small spider.
Yes, and we would have killed that small spider.
Do you guys know how to parry?
And we would have died to the big one.
Yeah, you can block. You can block.
No, I'm saying, do you guys know how to?
I didn't know how to. I was just stabbing away.
Wise man, Fabio. It's a game that will show your friend's true character. That's all I can say.
I'm a Brazilian man. Use my
I like what Timber wrote. For a game with a lot of bugs, it's really good. I love that.
Yeah, I heard someone say it before too.
That's very punny. Very punny of you.
Yeah,
okay. I'm interested. I'm actually interested now that the story everything is all fleshed out. Is there actually an ending to this game? Can you actually get big and go home?
Of course.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but that's obviously going to be the story. But I mean, who wants to get big?
What about what about a possible part 2 where you go after this scientist that did this to you?
I like that.
Grounded 2, The Revenge.
You know, like, you're just a kid. Like, what you're doing?
I know, right? You're just a kid.
I've seen the Goonies. I know what kids are capable of. And that movie deserved a sequel too that it never got.
Okay.
I mean, this game is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the video game. And I love
I'm traumatized. Traumatized by that movie,
fantastic.
yes. Traumatized.
And their character's name's Pete. So, how good's that?
So we've got some additions to October Games with Gold. Apparently, Gold members are going to receive Windbound and Bomber Crew Deluxe editions as part of October's Games with Gold.
Next topic.
Yeah, who cares?
Good call. I'm
Hey,
gonna have
some
to.
people really
Like,
like games with gold.
I'm sorry, but like
throw that
it's-
whole program in the trash, bro.
I just wanna really understand, like, why is this still games with gold a thing? Why does it still exist?
I didn't
People,
know it
some
still
people,
exists until I saw that on the game. I said it to
people.
myself
Look, I
too.
have no problem with it existing.
About
I really
3.5 billion.
don't. Options are king.
You know,
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
but you know what? You know
Yeah.
what? You always own them, and I still have. Back when games with gold was good, because okay, it's not. Let's be honest, it's not good anymore.
No, because you know what,
Game
people
Pass
are
is
comparing. Yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no,
I've had
yeah,
great
that's what I'm
games in
saying.
that. Yeah.
People are comparing
Hey,
games with gold with Game Pass, and they're not the same.
they
It's
just
just
gave away Portal 2, and I'm sorry, that's a great game. But there
That
are
is a
games that I've
fantastic
got on
game.
there
Yep.
that I do really enjoy. I think they gave away Watch Dogs. They've given away a few really good games. Sleeping Dogs. So look, regardless of what everyone says about it, I still think it deserves to exist. My issue
Yeah.
is now that they're moving away from the 360 games, those 360 games you actually owned. The Xbox One games, you have to have a continuing subscription to games with gold in order to play them. So what are they going to do now? Will they then make the Xbox One games that you own them and the series games that you have to have the subscription, or is it always going to be a subscription thing? That's the answer. I don't think we've got an
I
answer to
hope
that question
well,
yet.
I hope it is a situation where the Xbox One games become the ones you own, with or without the subscription. To be honest, because maybe we're going to see that more clearly when we start to get exclusive next generation games, and then we're going to have something like this. But right now, I don't know. I think they should put the entire program like on hold, wait a little bit so they can have something actually, and then show back again, or just cancel it, because I don't care anymore about games with gold. To be honest.
well, like I was
Oh,
saying,
they're free games.
if you go into your game library on your Xbox, I did this the other day when when I saw I got Portal 2, and then that other game, I can't even remember the name of it right now, but it struck me as a hack and slash looter, third person. I went in and I looked at my library, and there are so many good games that I still own that I mean, when you go in your full library of your purchased games, it shows you everything, and not just everything that's on your hard drive, everything. And I've got so many games that I own thanks to Games with Gold back when it was good. And I just wish it was good again. Make it good again, Microsoft, please. Please,
Yeah,
please, please.
I think the biggest problem with games with gold is the fact that it has to be compared to its rival competitor, which is like the baseline PS Plus Essential tier, right? And regardless of where um, your preferences lie when it comes to gaming, the PS Plus has been giving better games out, and they've been giving out better games for a while now. And you can argue that yes, without the subscription, you lose access to it. But that's to me, that's neither here nor there. I think that like Microsoft could do a much better job putting games that have a little bit more star power behind them. If the games are good, then great. And some people can find some enjoyment out of them. But let's face facts. Like people like hearing bigger titles, or even if they're older, bigger titles, going into this service and giving people who I guess maybe aren't pulling the trigger on Game Pass. Sometimes I feel like Games with Gold is basically like, a monthly reminder, like you really should just be in Game Pass Ultimate. You know what I mean? Like it's like here they are, but look at Game Pass Ultimate. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's got to be a way to like merge that, or find a way, to incentivize it a little bit more. I understand that they're free, and I'm never going to knock a free game, I guess, but I can't sit here and say that I've been interested in the games with the gold game in a long time, in a while. So I do think that there's some work to do there. And I think it's still a good service. I still think that Xbox has a better online service overall, but as far as those games go, I mean, definitely work to do there for sure.
Yeah, look, I do agree that it could definitely be better, but I'm on my Xbox right now and I have 175 free games with gold games, and some of them are really, really good. So, Watch
Yeah.
Dogs,
I mean,
Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition, Forza 5, Forza 6, Rise, Son of Rome. Look, I probably owned most of these games anyway. Metal Gear Solid, The Phantom Pain, Lords of the
yeah.
Fallen. So there are some
Battlefield
really,
1 was a
really
really
good
good one
games
for
there.
me. And
Yep,
Gears 5.
yep, yep. And so I agree with you. There does need to be that killer app, and that has been. It's just getting rarer and rarer, isn't it? I think the best game we've got, this generation, probably Darksiders 3, and even that wasn't, fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Um,
But I mean, where would you rather them focus their money power, man? Would you rather them focus it on getting third-party deals with Game Pass, or would you rather them getting deals with games with gold? Because obviously you're gonna,
I
have to
think
pay
that
for both of them.
I think that they could take a major PRW and just go ahead and make all multiplayer free to play. And then you can just make gold the free tier. Like, so you guys remember how silver tier used to be in Xbox Live? Silver tier. So gold becomes silver. And then all access to multiplayer is free. Take the PRW and then make Game Pass Ultimate so appealing that people just have no choice but to subscribe to it. You know what I mean? Put all the
That's a fantastic
power.
idea.
You know what I mean? So that would be where I would take it.
You should work for Xbox marketing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that'd be a great thing. Everybody online is going to see this as a win. There's no way to spin it otherwise. It gets games with gold, off of its last leg, because I feel like that's where it's at, and sometimes, and I don't know if I can't speak for everybody, but man, I see that list and I'm like, oh man, like, and the comments underneath it are going to be rough, especially whenever a PlayStation has like a really good offering. Like 2 months ago when they offered the newest Crash Bandicoot game, I was like, oh my God, that's an Activision title, and they're getting that for free with their PS Plus subscription. So yeah, that's what I would do with it, man. I would divert all energy to Game Pass Ultimate and just let people play multiplayer online. They're about to own some of the biggest multiplayer titles anyway. You know what I mean? So,
Good point.
You know what I mean? Like if you
look
own
at
Call
how
of Duty,
they took that first step, didn't they? They took that first step and made the free-to-play games available without a subscription, so you can play Fortnite without having gold, which previously wasn't the case. So just take that extra step, Microsoft. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It really would be a big W for them.
Be the pro consumer console that everybody thinks you already are, right? Like take that next step, and in the midst of PlayStation crying and increasing their prices, you could say, well, hey, guess what? You can play multiplayer over here for free. So, you know what I mean? Like, how do you argue against that? Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I would be okay with crap games in games with gold if it was easy achievements. At least give me something to pad my gamer score.
I agree there. If there were games that had like an easy 1,000 out of 1,000, like anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, 2 to 5 hours, something like that, and you can say, hey, listen, and you can also market it that way and say, here's 2 hours of 1,000 out of 1,000 score. You know what I mean? But at that point, I would be doing like some kind of marketing deal with there's a developer, and they have these games, and they have like really high gamer score that you can get like 30 minutes to an hour. You know what I mean? And they usually show up on like every achievement hunting guide, and they're all made by Xylator. I don't know how to say their name properly, but they make a lot of these really good, like you can get 3,000 gamer score in like a half hour. It's crazy. But yeah. And like if it was like that, I agree with you, Bob. Like, if they like came out with it and said, hey, here's the games for gold. This is 2,000 gamer score in like an hour. You know what I mean? Like that'd be okay. Well, that's pretty awesome. I'll download that, get that easy 1,000 and go on,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
that could entice people to be with games with gold. But
I at
I
least
don't know. I'm not
download the
gonna.
game and delete it. That way I know if I ever want it, I could go back and
Yeah,
download
lots of
it.
people do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
All right.
heard that a lot of
What's
people
next, Bob?
actually don't even get the games with gold now. They don't even look at it. And to be honest, it's one of those things where I've stopped looking at it. Whenever I remember, I do it. But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't think everybody does it anymore. And that is a shame.
Yeah.
So, Infinite Umbra brought something up in the chat, and we didn't bring this up last week. It was, I don't know why we did. Oh, I know why we didn't bring it up, because we had none other than Mr. Colt Eastwood as the special guest last week, and we only hit the big ones, and we gave him his own soapbox, main screen, cut out. I took the gameplay and put it over on the side, and it was almost like you were watching an episode of XNC on Monday, yet it said Game Set Live on top of the screen. That's why we didn't get to this last week. But there have been documents that have surfaced where, even though for the last two generations, well, for half of the last generation and all of this generation, with the Xbox One X having the power crown over the PS4 Pro and the Series X having the power crown over the PS5. There have been documents that have been leaked where PlayStation has made agreements with third-party developers where they've basically said in these agreements it has to perform the same on PS5 and PS4 Pro that it does on Xbox One X and Xbox Series X, which means that's why we haven't been seeing right out of the gate after a game's release the huge power difference in the two consoles until after that contract has expired, and then you start seeing One X and Series X games go up to 60 frames, go up to 1880, in some cases 2160p. It's pretty shady when you have to make an agreement with a developer that even though the better hardware can run the game better, it has to run it the same way your console runs it. That is utter bullshit. If that was the same, think about it. If that was the same on PC, why would you ever upgrade hardware if my 2080 was forced to run games the same as your 1080? This is stupid.
I think the word for this is equity, not fairness. So when we talk about equity, we're talking about not everyone can afford the best generation console or the best
Correct.
PC. So I think that is the reason, and I think it as much.
That's why they still make it playable. You can still play it, but what's the incentive of buying a better video card or save it up and buying a better console? The incentive is to get better performance and better visuals. If that incentive wasn't there, nobody would ever upgrade.
Yeah, but if I'm releasing a game, I'm playing devil's advocate here. If I'm releasing a game and they say, and I've made it at X level, and they're like, oh, well, only 1 out of 5 things can play it at that level. It will be this level on everything else. I would think, oh, well, that's really unfair to the people who don't own that.
I think that when I look at it, to me, it almost sounds like admitting defeat on the console's strength, because I don't. I understand what you're saying with that too, Doomy. But in this instance, I had to read over it a couple times because it was really rattling my brain on what would be the rationale for having to put this in a contract. And the only thing I could think of was that if one console can perform better than the other. And if the other console can perform better than the other, you don't want a jump from that console right this early in the generation where you already got Digital Foundry and everybody else examining games. You want it to last as long as you can before that way you get sales before people can see it.
No,
And
that's right. It's been talked. Sorry to interrupt. It's been talked about so much in the community that the Xbox Series X is future proofed for quite a while.
Right.
Its capabilities are much, and people have said this. They're like, why can't I use the Xbox Series X's full capabilities yet? Why aren't there games out there that do that? And that's the reason. I think that's probably. I don't know if they're holding back, but yeah, I mean they could be for sure.
To a degree, I think so, because when you look at the situation, the PlayStation 5 has a their own version of RDNA 2. A lot of people like to argue it, but they do. They have their own version because they didn't want to wait for the full version. So it doesn't have mesh shaders, doesn't have machine learning. I forgot what the third thing is, but those three things are huge. VRS. So those things are huge. Thank you. Those things are huge. You'll see a big graphical difference as far as depth in the game, lighting. There's certain lighting techniques they don't have to use now that the game will automatically do it itself because of machine learning. It's ridiculous. So you'll have some of those things that when you'll see it more so once this contract is over, and two, you'll see it more so on first party games. Because in first party Xbox games, they can use the whole gambit of everything without anything holding them back. PlayStation, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the games won't look good, but there will be a big difference between the two when it comes to comparing games with third-party games once that runs out or once teams start to use more of that RDNA architecture.
Yeah, a lot of people point out the fact that this is the lowest difference between the two consoles ever in percentage of raw computing performance, but everybody's kind of missing what you actually pointed out, and it's the rendition of full RDNA 2 implementation of FSR 2.0 and 2.1 could be implemented better and easier in games that could be utilized for Xbox. But Sony's been using this parity clause since the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, since the inception of the One X and the One X's ability to render games at a higher resolution. They've had parity clauses basically since the beginning, and all it does is just shows that Sony's fully aware that the Series X and the One X back when it was a thing is a more powerful console. You'll hear people on Twitter and they'll be barking about it's SSD and it's this and it's that and special sauce. Listen, there's no special sauce. My my graphics card is not a 3080 Ti, and it will never be. No SSD that I put in my PC is going to make it a 3080 Ti. And that's just raw mathematical numbers. So Sony sees that, and it's like they just like the thing with Game Pass and everything. They don't want any marketing that's going to be negative towards PlayStation. And if a game can be held up on a pedestal that can be shown as a showcase against what a PlayStation game could look like, whether it's third party or first party, that's negative marketing. And that's really what Sony and PlayStation focus on, right? It's about their perception in the market because they hold the market. They hold the market share. So anything that could contest or compete with that market share or the optics of that market share. That's why they're so loud about the Call of Duty acquisition and Activision. This is a very bad optic for them, right? It looks really bad because they know that as soon as they get their hands on it and it's first party, it's going into Xbox Game Pass with Xbox marketing, right? So that now everything that they have in optics and market share is out the window. You know what I mean? There's no way to argue with getting the brand new Call of Duty for $15. It's never. There's nothing on PlayStation. There's no feature. There's no rumbly controller that's going to make you be like, oh man, you know what? I'm not going to get this on Game Pass. Man, I'm gonna go spend $100 and play it on PlayStation with a little bit more vibration than normal. You know what I mean? Like that's never going to happen. You know what I mean?
I'm
So,
not about you, Power.
well,
sometimes it counts, but in this
yeah,
case,
you're
it does
right.
not.
You're right. You're right. Sometimes the haptics matter. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
you
no,
know,
I get it.
yeah,
It's funny, Power Man, that you touched on that, because I don't understand their whole argument to begin with, because if you look at it, we know that Call of Duty, the multiplayer, is free everywhere. It's free to play. So they are still going to get their transactions. They're still going to get their microtransactions. They're still going to make money off the game. The only thing that may not be on their platform in 5 years, I'm saying that because there's still 2 years, 3 games on the contract, and then Phil said they added 3 years. The only thing not possible after 5 years is the campaign. Well, there's no microtransactions on the campaign anyway. They don't make any money on the campaign. So what are you complaining about? You're still going to get your microtransactions with the free to play, and I'm sure that if anything goes exclusive, it's going to be the campaign. It's going to be the story. They know it's a cash cow. Warzone is going to be free to play everywhere from here on out to the end of time.
But Bob, here's the difference, right? So as it stands right now, so there's a 30%, like, pay tax for it being on a platform, right? So if somebody buys a microtransaction, from Warzone via a skin or whatever, so 30% of that goes to PlayStation and 70% goes to Activision. The difference is once the acquisition goes through, now 70% goes to Xbox and 30% goes to PlayStation. So for every transaction that happens, Xbox owns 70% of that purchase.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Jim Ryan is making it sound like it's hurting, their bottom line, but they're still getting the same amount of money that they've always gotten from the transactions.
Right. Yeah. This has nothing to do with their bottom line.
Yeah, that's not his concern, though. His concern is losing it. One rumor is, and I believe it to be true for really good reasons. One, I think they are going to go bi-yearly. I don't think they're going to keep it yearly, and so that's a loss of revenue. So instead of making, I remember what the number was, $135 million a year. So you do that twice a year, is 270. Now you're only making in 2 years 135, and that's a huge hit to your numbers. And then after that, look, if it's going by yearly, you might only get 2, if that. So if it's going by yearly and that contract it ends and you only get 2, you don't even make a fraction of what you would have made. So that's why they're complaining so hard and finding any angle to save face. Listen, he don't even care about being embarrassed. He's like, I need this bottom line. Who knows? It might be tied to his bonuses, but that is the main reason why it has it. You don't hear him talking about no other game, not Overwatch, nothing. It is all about COD, and the money that they make from COD is ridiculous. So that's the main thing.
PlayStation's losing a position of power and authority, and like having the marketing rights and being able to have somewhat of a say. And like, obviously they are negotiating portions of these timed exclusive contracts, whether it's via mode, skins, or all this kind of stuff. All this stuff is going to go away, and they know that. And that positioning is what they're really upset about. It's not really about the money. Like, they're going to lose some money out of this for sure, but for them, they're looking at this 5-10 years into the future, when there's a huge unknown right now over whether or not Call of Duty could even be on a PlayStation. And as it stands, people are saying, oh, well, we don't know what Call of Duty has been around, and I really don't see this game going anywhere from the top of, most of our charts and MPDs anytime soon. Even Vanguard, which was, not very well accepted at all, was the number 1 and number 2 best-selling game of 2021, regardless of what people say, and it was still a high-selling. Yeah,
it wasn't even that good a game. That's still so, like, that shows you the power of that game itself.
The power of the name, man. Call of Duty is just a force to be reckoned with. And I know that there are other bigger, because at the end of the day, we all know, right, these things right here, Like, this is where the money's at, right? We know phones, mobile markets is the only one that's had major growth in the last 10 years. Consoles have been stagnant. They've hovered around the 150 million user mark when, Apple sells 150 million in 3 months. You know what I mean? So like, they know this mobile market is where it's coming from, right? And
Right.
that's why you see Phil Spencer trying so hard to reach that 4 billion gamers. And that's who he's talking to. You know what I mean? He's talking to everybody walking around with a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Sony's still looking at this from 1997, where people, who still,
Console sales, yeah.
living in that console generation. You know what I mean? And we're gonna see Sony is very slow, and they're trying to be calculated in their steps because they have a very loud vocal minority fan base that's really, that can get really rabid and crazy with the responses. Like, look, they just announced Sackboy coming to PC. And
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
and I'm already seeing reaction videos. So it's going to be, and it's like, this is Sackboy for one, guys. You know what I mean? Nothing to get crazy about. Let's be real.
Right.
Sackboy at 120 frames. I can't wait.
So-
But
I do
I
want to
know,
get
right?
in. Chat, leave in the hit the chat and tell us what you think about this nasty business practice of Sony trying to make parity. I mean, why would you? I mean, Upgrade is there for a reason.
yeah,
as
shout out
long as
to
it's still playable.
69mega.com showing up to the chat. Good to
I
see you,
know,
bud.
right? I
Good to see you, bud.
It's not removing it for you.
Make sure
but
you
it's
hit
removed
the
it for
like
me.
button before you go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
69
hit the
mega
subscribe
dot
button.
You
more
know,
importantly.
we've made it when you're getting
Yeah.
on screen.
So let us know in the let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat what you think about.
I
Sony
think
doing this.
Sony had a bigger market share last generation. What's going to happen this generation
Yeah.
is anybody's guess. I don't know if they're going to be able to push around these companies like they did last generation. That's going to be
I
the
don't
big
know.
thing, Bob, I think.
It seems to be they're still the media darling. They cannot
Yeah, but
do
that's
any
for now. I
wrong.
would
For
peak with
now.
that.
They do.
I would
now.
peak with
It's
that.
true.
They're shooting themselves in the foot a lot this gen. I would peak with that one. They're really doing a lot of things that are hurting themselves, especially in other markets by raising the prices. And I'm still sticking to this. When the holiday comes around, that Series S is going to dominate again this generation over maybe even the X. To top it off, is still $50 less than the PS5. So that right there, they're
Huggeeks
helping.
said that they could even drop it to $200 just for the holiday season.
Yes.
I mean, if they did that,
Yeah.
it will just
I go buy another
Imagine.
one.
hotcakes.
I would buy
Yeah.
another one.
So
I'm not even.
Rob,
I don't even need
Everyone,
one. I'll
that's
buy
what
another
everyone
one.
would be getting one for Christmas.
Yeah.
Like,
See.
I would get another one too. If it was $199, I'd pick up one just to have one.
Oh yeah.
One,
Even if it's $250, I think I probably still would. I'll buy one for the living room, even though there's nothing in the living room.
Yo,
So,
$199. That's an awesome present for somebody.
is.
Dude. Like,
Yeah.
It is.
And with the COD thing, with the parody thing, look, everybody, we all know because we're in the industry, we know that Call of Duty is on all consoles. A lot of casuals didn't know that. So in the 360 generation, when Xbox had the marketing, it was Call of Duty was synonymous with Xbox. And then the PS4 generation, they had the marketing, and then it became synonymous with PlayStation. And so a lot of these people don't even know that you can get it on both generations. And that is very worrying to Sony. I don't think they can stop the deal, but Jim Ryan is doing everything he possibly can to delay it.
Yep.
So did anybody catch the news on Twitter today that was dropped? The trailer, which actually takes us into our last topic. There was a Scorn trailer released, and it was confusing me because the date on that trailer kept jumping back and forth. I wasn't really sure exactly what I was seeing, and I had remembered towards the end that Scorn's releasing on the 21st of October. It keeps jumping back and forth between 21/14, 21/14. And it ended with the 14th. Scorn has been moved up
Has it been
7
moved up?
days.
Really?
Yes, they
That is
moved
a rarity in gaming.
October 14th.
Yeah.
Should we be worried?
No, we should be excited because that means something from Microsoft is actually being released earlier than normal. And
Yeah,
not later.
but here's the thing: in
Take
what
the W's when you can.
states is it going to be here? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think the only reason why you move it up is because it's done. That's the only reason I would do that. I wouldn't.
Well,
I don't think anybody would unless the game is just about done.
well,
Because you
well,
shoot yourself in the foot then.
well, Cyberpunk at the same time that they didn't do this, they did that. So yeah.
Somebody always
Did they
brings
really? I
up
didn't remember that.
dumpster fire, don't they? God. Let's compare it to the dumpster fire. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I
It's
watched
the
Skill
best
Up's thing
example.
on Scorn, and
It's the best example.
he couldn't even define what the
That is
game
a good
was.
example.
It's a walking simulator, it's a puzzle game, it's a shooter, all wrapped up
Yeah.
into one. But I don't know. I like the look of it, and hey, it's
I do
on Game
too.
Pass.
Why not? Yep. It looks like a AA game though. I think some people think it's a AAA. I don't know why. I think it's a AA. I'm going to reach out to somebody and ask. I don't think it's a
I think
AAA
it's
game.
definitely a double A
Thember
Bushido. But
Yeah.
the love
Okay,
that they have
okay.
put into crafting that world of
Yeah.
HR Geiger, I mean, it's like they reached into his brain and just put on screen everything that he was about, and you can just it oozes passion for that medium. And I'm definitely going to play it day one.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's not really up my alley. I don't think I will play it.
Yeah. You know, you play in arachnophobia mode on Grounded. I don't think you're ready for Scorn.
Yeah, it is a creepy looking game.
It
is.
I
Yes.
hear it's kind of like slow, methodical. Like there's more interactions with things in the environment than necessarily combat.
Okay.
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
Still looks freaky. Maybe
Yeah.
I could
did they
stream it
actually
and put
move
a
the
heart
date,
rate
did they,
monitor on.
KY? Because it was launching in a very tight area. So it was October 21st, and I think Plague's Tale was October 18th. I believe Gotham Knights is right around there as well. And Modern Warfare, if you pre-ordered, you get it on the 20. You get the campaign on the 21st as well. So it was in a very condensed area.
Yeah.
And if they did move that date, and I haven't seen it, to be honest, Bob, that would be a really good idea by them.
Yeah.
It would.
Hey, Bobby, you gonna read that thing on I could sum it up real quick though. After I looked at it a couple of times with the
So
converting over.
I skimmed over it, and yes, so going from C++ is it's a language in which programs are made in a Windows environment, and so if things can be so C++ is basically what Unreal is programmed with. It's what it's built with. That is the language that the code is written out in. If that is comparable to what Slipspace is using, what the developer said to you was if it was something like Unity,
Yeah,
using
that was the
C
worst one.
hash,
Yep.
to Unreal, which is C++,
right?
And then we're talking about a minimum of 6 months.
And the longest I think he said was 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah, because those two aren't even the same at all. So it's like you said, starting from the ground up. But anything with that formulation of C in it, that could be done within 3 to 6 months. The other thing he said too was that he asked someone at 343 what was their formulation, and sure enough, it's in the C's. So it'll be it would be easier to convert over. It won't be a long process. So fortunately for that.
Right. So basically what you're talking about, like, let me put this in layman's terms for those that don't understand exactly. It's still the English language. It's just going from the way a Californian talks to the way a New Yorker talks.
That's a good one.
It's still the same language, but the slang and the terms and the way things are put together may be a little different. So
That's a good one.
yeah, which I hate to say it, another positive note, another thing that gets my hopes up that this isn't going to be a long drawn out as long as it took to fix Master Chief Collection.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and a lot of the tools that they're using, like Slipspace, came from the original Blam engine, which was from like the original 3D sandbox of like Quake and other thing. I can't remember exactly what it was. I know it was Quake and like one or two other, but it was like so the engine that they based it on, they built on it, was like the Saber 3D engine. So like that was like the Quake engine they used for a lot of the games back in like the early 2000s. So, that the good thing is like that stuff's been around for a while. So like if devs have access to a lot of those tools from if they've been around for a while or they know a lot of that language that they're coming from, it might not take as long as we think it is, and it might not be as big of a deal. Like I remember when Fortnite went from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5, nobody even knew. Like they just did a season.
Yeah, how about that?
They did one season, they dropped it for a day, and it came back and it was Unreal 5 and nobody even knew. they had to do like analysis after the fact, and people were like, oh, it's an Unreal 5 Unreal Engine 5 game, and Fortnite's been an Unreal Engine 5 game for a while now. So we'll see. I'm not going to doom and gloom this thing until we get some confirmation really from 343,
Yeah.
For sure.
well, guys,
I did love the analysis about
Bob.
Bob. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good.
Anybody else tired and hungry? Ready to get out of here for the night?
I'm tired, but I'm not hungry. I already ate.
Hey, I'm always down talking gaming with you guys, man.
Absolutely.
Drink.
I love talking gaming.
I need a drink.
And your connection issue, we haven't lost you in over an hour.
I know.
I still think
I
Bobby-
switched off from out of the Xbox and went to the laptop.
Everybody at Google went to sleep and stopped DDoSing you.
I still say it was Bobby
They're all
taking
mad. We ain't gonna be online. Ain't nobody gonna be online.
The social media manager at 343 fell asleep. That's what happened.
Somebody said Bonnie, cut him off. Somebody said Bonnie, shut him down.
Even Thember said, you guys stop talking about 343. That's why it happened.
He knows what's up. Thember knows.
Oh man. So man, another end of another Thursday. I do want to make an announcement because of some family time issues. Starting next week, Game Set Live will be on Wednesday nights at the same time. We're moving from Thursdays to Wednesdays. It's going to work better with my schedule. I have a son that's in Scouts, and the Scouts meet on Thursdays, and his den
Very
leader
cute.
has.
I didn't know the Scouts are still around. Wow.
And his
course.
den leader is not really pulling his weight, and my son is not really advancing the way he should. So I'm going to start going to Scouts with my son on Thursdays.
Okay.
Wow, Scout Leader Bob.
That's awesome.
Scout Leader Bob.
That's awesome.
That's right. So we're going to move to Wednesdays, and I'm hoping that it doesn't affect the panel too much because I love you guys, and I love doing this every Thursday or every week, no matter what day it is.
Family comes first, Bob.
Don't you worry, Bob. It will.
With that being said, I would like to go to the first guest in alphabetical order. DOOMCUTIE, please tell all our lovely viewers where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me, I'm making the gradual move to YouTube. I haven't been streaming very much on Twitch. So, yeah, you can find me either there or here.
Oh, Infinite Umbro said Bob the Mover.
But
Only 24 hours, Umbra. 24 hours earlier. That's it. Gosh.
all right, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I really do have to go. But yeah, it's been wonderful to chat with you all.
Enjoyed having you on, Doomy.
Pardon?
Yeah, it was great to
I said
have
enjoyed having you on.
DOOMCUTIE.
Oh, thank you. Some of the things I don't know about, or some of the stuff Yeah, but I always love chatting. I love hearing what you guys have to say. So,
Later, cutie.
Yep.
all
By
right,
the way,
and thanks to the
sorry.
Have a
chat,
good
and thanks
night,
for anyone
cutie.
who moved over and saw or liked or subscribed or whatever on my channel. I'll go and check that out, and I'll share the love. So yeah.
Yes.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Have a good night.
Good night. All right. Well, this worked out well at the very top of the screen, Mr. JediKnightPeter. Where can people find you at? And is one of those places somewhere where there is somebody that sounds just like Mr. Bushido?
Thank you for having me. Sorry about all the connection issues I was having at the start. I did get them sorted in the end. But you can find me at Twitter at JediKnightPeter, on Xbox if you want a game at JediKnightPeter, and we are on 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Xbox Infinite every Friday. So come check out Risk It for the Biscuit, my man Infinite Umbra in the chat, DOOMCUTIE, and myself. All love talking about gaming. Love coming on Game Set Live, Bob, chatting with, Bushido, Fabio, Powerman. Thank you guys so much for having me. Really enjoyed it.
It's always
Yeah, we
great having
appreciate you
you
coming.
on here,
Yeah,
Peter.
love talking game with Pete all the time. Xbox chat or whatever.
And Mr. Fabio, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me here. Hopefully, you can find me on Wednesday as well. I'll let you know, Bob. No worries.
Yes,
As
thank
well
you.
as you can find me on Twitter as FBO Amorim97. You can find me on Xbox as Bullfunlizard8. As well as you can find me on, not necessarily in person because it's been a while since I made a podcast or a live video there, but you can find me working with my chaps on the XPL Party podcast, because where we have a ton of content. And by the way, we just hit the milestone of 800 subscribers, so thank you so much for the support.
Awesome. I'll be there. I'm expecting this episode to catch fire. I'll reach like 800 by next week.
You will. No, you can be sure that you will get to this milestone really quickly, to be honest.
I know. It's all about the grind, baby. And if I didn't love doing it, I wouldn't do it. So
Exactly.
There you go.
Really proud.
okay. Who wants to go next? Mr. Bushido or Power
What do you
Man?
mean who wants to
Fight.
go next? What do you mean who wants to go
Go ahead,
next? Like,
Bushido.
Okay. Yeah, you could find me on the Spooky Sprocket Show. You could find me on the Doomsayers Den. And you can find me on Game Set Live, Rematch, and Fight. Every time it's on.
Yep, there you go. Yep, that is our resident professional right there, Mr. Bushido N7. Mr. Powerman 4K, where can people find you at, brother?
Well, most of the time you can find me directly underneath a really bad Sony take from a person on Twitter. Just out there correcting all that misinformation that's spread out on that beautiful social media platform. But other than that, you can catch me here on, well, I guess Wednesdays, right at 9 p.m. Chopping it up with you guys as usual. Another historic or a somewhat historic show in the books. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we definitely need to find out. Anytime we have more than 5 people, they all need to be on PC because apparently Restream does not like stretching that guest count out if it's to a console. Because as soon as Peter went from his Xbox to his PC or his laptop, 0 issues.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know that was possible. Can you do it from a phone?
I think you can do it from the phone as well. I was going to set it up through the phone first, but then I thought, look, I've had so many issues. I don't want to cause you guys any more trouble. I really do apologize.
Yeah, you remember when we had DOOMCUTIE and Noof Nukem on, and DOOMCUTIE used her phone from her desk in her classroom
to be on Restream and do a podcast?
Yeah. We had Noof Nukem and Doom Cutie on one night. I don't know. I have to go back. I don't know if you were on that episode, Power Man.
No, I
That's why you
wasn't.
were still getting your schedule worked out. But Doom Cutie was able to join during the recess at school behind her desk on camera, and what you
Oh,
really
shit.
you see a side of Doom Cutie that you don't see very often, all dressed up in school garb and glasses and everything. It's like just like a teacher. Yeah. I'll tweet that out in on Twitter and let it so everybody can check that episode out because it is it was a few months back, at least 12
How cool
episodes
would it
back.
be to be able to talk gaming with your teacher? That would be really, really cool.
Right? Right, and you can hear the kids coming in from recess, and she was like getting quiet. She was like, "I really gotta go. The recess is over. The kids are coming in and sitting down, and I'm sitting here talking on them." Yeah, it was great. It was great. Well, all right. I guess this is my spew. My name is KY Bob. I'm the host of Game Set Live. If you like what you saw, please like, share, subscribe, tell a buddy or two. You can catch me every Wednesday starting next week on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 a.m. British Standard Time. You can catch me on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, KY Bob. I did change on YouTube. I took the dot out in between the K and the Y because there's no dot on a keyboard, but there is on a phone. So people that were trying to highlight my name in chat could never do it if they were on a PC. So I changed that. There's no dot on YouTube.
Well, there's
And
no dot in the name on the tube anyway. So
right. That's why I had to get rid of it. No, believe it or not, I set my YouTube up account with I set the YouTube account up with my phone, and I was able
I
to
wasn't talking
add the
about YouTube when
dot.
I said tube.
Yeah, I was able to add the dot with my phone, but then whenever anybody tried to highlight me or reply to me in any live chat, they couldn't do it because you have to put in that second letter in order for the names to pop up and you to click on one, and they could never get a dot. So, yeah. But yeah, check me out. I'm on Xbox all the time. Hit me up. Open to gaming.
This
And
profile
we're gonna
picture
get
looks
out of
like
here.
the can of lubrication that his name comes from.
Oh, it doesn't come. It
Tastes
does
like
no. It hasn't come in a can in 20 years. We're all about tubes now, baby, because that shit
I
just slides in
don't
your
know who said
pocket.
can because I said tube.
Well,
I'm
you
still
know, it's
working
on
pretty
those
interesting
endorsements,
that you
Bobby.
know that, Bob. Like,
I'm still
wow.
working on. Yeah, how about that? How about that? Good pickup, Pete. That went over my head.
Yeah. Nice way to pick up the alley oop there, Pete. All right, guys. Some of us are going to get some rest. Some of us are going to game. Some of us are going to eat. Have a great weekend and game on. Night, everybody.
Xbox still got no games.
No, it does. It's
Trash.
got plenty of
Trash,
games.